Day 291 of doing a LeetCode problem every day until I get a job. All right, y'all, we're back again another day, another LeetCode problem. We made it all the way to day 291 and we're still going strong, y'all. Today we have question number 97, interleaving string. The difficulty level is medium, but don't worry because we're going to keep the solution as simple and easy to understand as possible. Now, before we get started, y'all, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you need any new Apple AirPods, go ahead and check out that link in the description, y'all. So now, let's see what the question says. Question says, given strings S1, S2, and S3, find whether S3 is formed by an interleaving of S1 and S2. An interleaving of two strings is S and T. An interleaving of two strings S and T is a configuration where S and T are divided into N and M substrings respectively, such that S equals S1 plus S2 all the way up to Sn, T equals T1 plus T2 all the way up to Tm, and N, the absolute value of N minus M, is going to be greater than or equal to 1. The interleaving is S1 plus T1 plus S2 plus T2 all the way and so on and so on. Note A plus B is the concatenation of strings A and B. So I know that's a lot to take in, so let's go ahead and look at these examples so we can make sure we know exactly what it is that they want us to do. So in example 1, we have the input S1 equals AABCC, S2 equals DBBCA, and S3 equals AADBBCBCAC. The output is true. Now what we want to do, remember this S3 is supposed to be an interleaving of these two strings right here. So let's look at the explanation, see how they got that, right? So in explanation, it says one way to obtain S3 is to split S1 into AA plus BC plus C and split S2 into DB, BC plus A. Interleaving the two splits, we get AA plus DB, BC plus BC plus A plus AC, which equals AADB, BC, BC, AC. Since S3 can be obtained by interleaving S1 and S2, we return true. So let's go ahead and look at this picture and the input and so we can see, break it down one step further, right? So it says, first we start off with S1, we get AA. We split S1 up into AA. So we see we have AA right here. Boom. Then it says we split, we'll say we split when we get, sorry y'all. Then it says we split S2 into DBBC. So as you can see, we can split S2 into DBBC right here. And then after AA on this side, you see we just split S1 into AA. Then the next after AA becomes DBBC, like we split it up in S2 right here. Sorry, y'all. Like we split it up right here. So now we add that over here. Boom. Then we see, and after AA and S1 comes BC. So that's what comes next over here. We put the BC right here. Boom. So as you see the BC, so it goes AA right here. Then we go DBBC, that comes right here. Then we come BC, that's back over here. Now we're left with A and C, so we come over here in S2 after DBBC is A, so we can add the A right here. Boom. That's where this A comes from right here. And last but certainly not least, we have the C from S1, which would be right here, and that it comes last right here. And in the end, the output is true. It says since S3 can be obtained by interleaving S1 and S2, we return true, and that's S2. So let's look at example 2, which is an example where it's impossible to interleave S1 and S2. So in example 2, we have S1 equals AABCC, S2 equals DBBCA. This time S3 equals AADBBBACCC, and the output is false because that's not interleaving, right? And we cannot interleave these two strings into this string, because as you can see, first we have AA, boom. So we get the AA right here, boom. Then we have DBBC again, but you come over here, we have DBBB. So we already know off the top that's not gonna work. That's just not gonna work. Even if we keep going, right? We did that, there's no A coming from over here. We already used the A over here, so they took this A and put it after the D. I mean after the B, and then they just put all the C's together at the end, right? Put these C's, these two C's, and this C together at the end. That's not what they want us to do. That's not interleaving at all. So the output is false. Now in example 3, they might try to throw some tricks our way and just give us all blank strings. And in that case, the output would be true because they're all the same, right? So if we could interleave them all, right? It's just a blank string. Excuse me. So that's why the output is true in example 3. Now that we know what the question is asking, y'all, let's get into the fun part, the actual solution, y'all. We should get through it fairly quickly. We're going to use some dynamic programming, so I hope you're excited about that. So let's get started. Now, the first thing we need to do is we need to get the lengths of S1 and S2. So in order to do that, we could just say let, open up the parentheses, M, comma, N, come outside those parentheses, say equal, open up the parentheses again, and we'll say S1.count, comma, S2.count, just like that. Boom. Now, if the length of S3 is not equal to the sum of S1 and S2's count, then we could return false because we know that there's going to be extra letters in there or something of that nature. So it will once again be like example 2, it will be impossible to interleave the two. So in order to do that, we could just say guard S3.count equals M plus N. Else, we could just open up the brackets and we could return false, just like that. Now we need to convert the strings into arrays, which will help us when we're iterating through indexes and trying to see which letter goes where, right? So in order to do that, we could just say let let open up the parentheses, A1, comma, A2, comma, A3. We're going to set that equal to, say equal, then we're going to say open up the parentheses, we're going to say array, open up the parentheses, S1, come outside those parentheses, but still inside the other parentheses, then we're going to say array, parentheses, S2, then we're going to do it again for S3, so we're going to say array, parentheses, S3. And once again, what this is going to do is it's going to convert S1, S2, and S3 into arrays for us. Now we need to create our 2D dynamic programming table, which will initialize the false just to start with. So in order to do that, we're just going to declare a variable. We can call it DP. Then we'll say colon. It's going to be a 2D array of booleans. So square bracket, boolean. And we're going to set that equal to an array. Then we're going to open up the parentheses. We're going to say repeating, and then colon. Then since it's a 2D array, it's going to be repeating another array. So we could say after repeating, we can say array, open up the parentheses again. This time we're going to say repeating, colon, false, comma, count, colon, N plus 1. Then we're going to come outside of those parentheses, but still inside the other parentheses, we're going to say comma, dot count, colon. This time it's going to be M plus 1, just like that. Now it's time to iterate through all the positions in the dynamic programming table that we just created. So in order to do that, we'll say for I in 0 dot less than M plus 1. We're going to open up the brackets. Then we're going to say for J in 0 dot less than N plus 1. Then we're going to open up the brackets. Then we're going to say if I equal sign 0 and J equal 0, we're going to open up the brackets. And this is just a base case if an empty S1 and S2 can interleave to form an empty S3. So we could just say that's similar to example 3. So we are going to say DP square bracket I square bracket J, set that equal to true. So that's how we're going to handle our case for example 3. Then we're going to come right here. We're going to say else if I equals 0, then we're going to open up the brackets and we're going to say dp square bracket I square bracket j. Then we're going to say equals dp square bracket I square bracket j minus 1. Then we're going to say and, come outside the square brackets, and two and signs. We're going to say a2 square bracket j minus 1 is equal to, so equals a3 square bracket j minus 1. So if S1 is empty, we're going to check S2 to see if S2j minus 1 matches S3j minus 1 and a previous DP value is true. So now we're going to say, come right here, we're going to say else if j equals 0, boom. Then we're going to open up the brackets. We're going to say dp square bracket I square bracket j. Then we're going to say equals dp square bracket I minus 1. Then we're going to come outside that square bracket j. Then we're going to say and a1, this time say a1 square bracket I minus 1 is equal to a3 square bracket I minus 1. Boom. Now we could just say else, come right here, we could just say else, should be just else, then we say else, boom, dp square bracket I square bracket j equals, open up the parentheses, dp square bracket I, come outside those square bracket j minus 1, then come outside that square bracket, we're going to say two and signs, and a2 square bracket j minus 1 equals, come outside the square brackets, we're going to say equal sign a3 square bracket I plus j minus 1. Boom. Then we're going to say or, so we can come underneath this for the or, just to make it easier to read. We say or, so it's going to be two vertical lines. We're going to open up the parentheses again. We're going to say dp square bracket I minus 1, come outside the square bracket j. Then we're going to come outside those square brackets, we'll say and, two and signs, we're going to say a1 square bracket I minus 1, come outside those square brackets, we're going to say equals again, and we're going to say a3 square bracket I plus j minus 1. Boom. Just like that. Now we're not done yet because we still need to return the final answer. So in order to do that, we're just going to come right here and we're going to say return dp square bracket m square bracket n. And that should be all she wrote, y'all. So let's run it. Make sure it runs like it's supposed to. Let's see. Okay, we have an error. Let's see. So it's, equal white space, y'all. Equal white space. So let's run it again. Run it again. Okay, so now let's see what we got up here. It says Jason. Let's see. So that should be two and signs, y'all. Sorry about that. So let's run it again. Now let's see. And it's accepted, y'all. So let's go ahead and submit it. Make sure it stays accepted after we submit it. And look at that, y'all. 2 milliseconds beats 88.89% of users with Swift, y'all. That's not too bad at all. Those are some good numbers right there. We'll get those numbers up as we continue down our LeetCode journey. But as you know, right now we are just want to get in a position where we can solve the problem that is presented to us and actually understand the solution that we are using to solve the problem. I feel like this is a good solution for that, y'all. So I hope y'all take everything y'all learn from this solution and apply it to future solutions. Now, before we leave, make sure y'all get one more look at the code. One more look at the code, y'all. That's the bottom half. That's the top half. And I hope y'all learned something today, and I hope to see y'all here tomorrow for another day, another LeetCode problem. See y'all then.